You only arrest for the purpose of dealing with a felony that's committed, and I don't count drunk driving as a felony.
Talk about awkward, and yeah, more non-felony drunk driving is now the official stance of the Biden administration since, they always care about the issues that affect us the most. Said no one ever. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of wearechange.org, and things are getting absolutely crazy. Freaking crazy, as of course we got a lot of important domestic news to get into here in the United States. This, as there's a lot of horrible people still out there. Some of them thinking about running for political office again, while the Supreme Court is under direct attack by many establishment politicians, the corporate media, as Joe Biden looks for a way to destroy the court and its checks on power within Washington, D.C. All of this as he has officially decreed that gas prices will go lower when Ukraine decides that. Yes, that's an official stance. Lots of craziness happening geopolitically, especially in the larger limited proxy war in Ukraine right now. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all on this independent media broadcast. So much news to get into. We're just going to jump right into it. As, of course, another video that I was going to be beginning this broadcast with was this one from Bloomberg TV with the head of the U.S. Federal Reserve proclaiming that, allegedly...
One way to say it would be, I think we now understand better how little we understand about inflation.
That's not very reassuring.
No, honestly, this was unpredicted. I was looking at our... at the time of our June meeting 1 year ago, of the 35 people who filed with a survey of professional forecasters, 34 of them had inflation below 4% for last year. And of course, it was way above 4%.
Unpredicted? Really? Because we here predicted it. We've been calling it out. We've been screaming it at the top of rooftops. Because obviously, what did you think was going to happen when you print money out of thin air in record levels? This is the chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve. Some would say a criminal banker that is playing dumb to cover up how he has printed an exorbitant amount of money and given it to his buddies on Wall Street while robbing you blind of any kind of stable financial future. And because of the financial calamity created by, of course, the U.S. Federal Reserve, that now is acting dumb as they were literally pressing the buttons to print more money than ever in recorded human history. Now, according to Gallup, we are seeing the consequences of a deliberate destruction of our current economic system, and with politicians getting more involved in everyone's life, not because of a sickness, but because of the direct actions of governments. Now we have some of the world's unhappiest and most stressed out people ever. This as we have a new Gallup poll highlighting that the negative experience index has gone up in correlation with, of course, the government involvement in your life, as people are more stressed out, more worried, more sadder than they ever have been in recent recorded history. This as things are expected to get a lot crazier, especially here in the United States, where right now, according to CBS News, more than half of U.S. murders now go unsolved. This as woke district attorneys in mainly Democratic states financed by billionaires that look like this have created a spree of lawlessness, criminality, that of course is only being prosecuted on political ideology. If you believe in certain political ideas and values, you could expect your bottom dollar that the FBI is watching your every move. If you question the authority, if you're working in independent media, if you're working in media in general, if you're asking questions that you're not supposed to, the federal government is breathing down your neck. But if you sell crack cocaine, which is tied into the intelligence agencies, if you murder people, and you're living in the right jurisdiction, you can most likely get away with it. As of course, violent crimes are on the rise, poverty is going to be on the rise as well. One of the many reasons I've been telling you on LukeUncensored.com to move away from major urban areas. This as criminals literally walk the streets freely, not just in San Francisco, not just in Chicago, not just in New York City, not just in woke areas, but also in royal palaces. As of course, many of the world's most powerful people on the face of this earth on the Ghislaine Maxwell client list have yet still to be held accountable for their horrible actions. Again, lots of criminals running free. Some of them want to run for political office, as CNN is literally putting out testers out there trying to see how the public will respond to a potential Hillary Clinton 2024 presidential run. Yes, CNN is throwing the idea out there with an article that they have titled "The Whispers of Hillary Clinton 2024 Have Started." And geez Louise, please, oh heaven, have mercy on this planet. My goodness, imagine if we had a rematch of 2016, just when you thought things couldn't get more devastating. Here we are with the corporate media trying to push this one down our throats once again. And that's why I think we're in for some trouble ahead, and that's what I've been warning about specifically on LukeUncensored.com, our own private, quasi-secret, not-so-secret, private, not-so-private organization. That's our own platform where we get to say and do whatever we want. We have a forum. We have exclusive merchandise at cost that will save you a lot of money. We have offers to exclusive events, to meetups that are only available for members of LukeUncensored.com. We will be doing yet another video later on today just for members and, of course, no one else. That video is only available to, of course, people who sign up. You could watch the video right after this one, and you could get a lot of exclusive offers. 3 masterclasses, the Apocalypse Survival one, you get to download now very easily, just in case if, the internet goes down, whatever may happen, you will be ready to survive whatever comes your way with the Apocalypse Survival Training Masterclass that also is free on LukeUncensored.com. There's 2 other great masterclasses available for you. It's not a Hillary Clinton masterclass. It's our own masterclasses designed to help you as much as possible, whether it's surviving, expatting, traveling, creating online media, having a voice online, networking with like-minded individuals, and also giving you up-to-date information about topics that we cannot discuss here on this particular platform. Today's video is going to be particularly important as there are some legitimate issues to get into right now. Watch the video right after this one on LukeUncensored.com. Now, I think it's very fair to say that the Supreme Court has been making some waves recently, especially when it comes to their checks of power within Washington, D.C., as of course we have 3 branches of government that work towards limiting each other, and that's exactly what the Supreme Court has been doing, limiting a vast scope of federal jurisdiction recently, allowing states to decide for themselves a lot of important issues, whether it's the rights of defending yourself, whether it's reproduction, and today they ruled that the EPA cannot be authorized by Congress to, quote, induce a shift to cleaner energy sources, aka green energy, usually coming from China. Green energy is usually a whitewashing PR term that just pretty much translates to a transfer of wealth to different powers. But the major decision by the Supreme Court upends an Obama-era regulation and stops the ETA from giving out emission caps, and yet is another major blow to the Democratic establishment, which a lot of politicians like AOC are up in arms about, as of course attacks on the U.S. Supreme Court by politicians, by the corporate media, by activists that are literally outside of Supreme Court judges' homes illegally against federal law have of course been dramatically increasing, as of course there was also an attempt recently on the life of a Supreme Court justice, all of course as Congress has denied extra security funding for Supreme Court members. Now, as the Supreme Court gets attacked because politicians aren't getting what they want, they don't win the decisions that they want to win, now they're looking to totally upend the system, as the President of the United States says that he would end the filibuster so that he could, quote, codify abortions and allow the executive branch of government to have overwhelming amount of power that can't be checked by the Supreme Court. This, of course, would help upend the rule of law and definitely destabilize our current political system, which works on a checks of balances. The executive office, the President of the United States, just deciding what he wants and implementing it and forcing it down everyone's throats, shows you how ever dangerous this administration is becoming, especially when it comes to their lawlessness, especially when it comes to the political prosecution of political opponents, of journalists, and other government officials that, of course, question what they're doing. The DOJ, the FBI under his administration has been ever so politically involved and, of course, heavily targeting a lot of right-wingers. All of this as he has, of course, wrecked domestic energy production, exploration, created more executive decisions that have raised energy prices, which now he's blaming only on Russia. Yes, there's a new video of the president desperately trying to shift the focus from his policies that have been destroying this country from the inside, that have been raising gas prices, and shifting them towards blaming Russia for all of them. Here's the video of this ever so desperate attempt.
But the bottom line is, ultimately, the reason why gas prices are up is because of Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia.
Yes, if you say it 3 times, it somehow becomes more true. This, as of course the Biden administration has declared that these high gas prices will end as soon as Ukraine wins this larger proxy war between Russia and Western powers. Now, is that true? Now, obviously, this is a false statement, as of course the rise of energy, the rise of gas has many components to it, and it has been going up before this larger proxy war inside of Ukraine. And even if this statement was true, we have to understand that the conflict in Ukraine could go on indefinitely. According to some political scholars, it could even last 10 years or more. And I would agree with that from my assessments. As of course, the corporate media was telling you at the beginning of this proxy conflict that it would be over in days. We told you it wouldn't. And there's a huge potential for this conflict expanding, growing, and lasting a lot longer than a lot of other people are expecting it to be. This, as the Biden administration that has created policies that have risen the price of energy, are talking about how the high price of energy is a quote, a part of an incredible transition. They deliberately did this. They're cheering this on. They're happy that they did this, as even Biden's climate advisor came out publicly and said that she is happy about the American job loss, specifically amongst oil producers that lost 31,000 jobs last year, as of course this will help force people into the transition of the Build Back Better Great Reset that globalists have been dreaming about for so long. Another important layer to understand here, especially when it comes to Biden's statements, erroneous statements about a Ukrainian victory, is that who decides that this war is over? Who decides a peace deal? Who decides that this conflict is over? And every time this administration is asked this, according to Tulsi Gabbard, they dodge the question, quote, by declaring the president of Ukraine will make that decision and the U.S. will follow. Going on specifically saying, quote, the most important foreign policy position our country has faced in the last 60 years is not being made by Congress or an American president, but by the leader of a foreign country. That's some important perspective to understand here, especially when it comes to the conflict inside of Ukraine that, of course, the United States is giving weaponry and technology to just to prolong and, of course, denying specific components to military hardware that would, of course, make a decisive victory here. This is specifically with the howitzers, which the United States conveniently didn't add the GPS components to, which, of course, would have shifted the plane and conflict inside of Ukraine. Why didn't the United States give the Ukrainians this? Well, that's a larger question. All of this is the Biden administration just spent another $3.2 billion buying more medical procedures. And again, I'm going to save this topic for LukeUncensored.com because this is infuriating. As people are finding it harder and harder to make ends meet, as people are finding it more and more difficult to pay for their lives, their food, their rent, the United States government is literally printing more money, handing it over for big pharma. For what? There's absolutely no, again, this is, I'm going to save this topic for LukeUncensored.com as well as other topics. But safe to say, with the conflict not going away in Ukraine, with NATO building up more military bases inside of Poland, doubling down inside of Sweden and Finland, with Russia becoming more destabilized, the situation is becoming very tense. and is probably going to become a lot more tenser from here. That's my perspective. Hopefully I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, let me know why down in the comment section below. I always appreciate your constructive criticism. I always appreciate being able to have a dialogue and a conversation that, of course, we can only have here in a genuine way. And if you thought I did that, if you thought I did an okay job, share this video with your friends, family members, random strangers walking down the street. Open up your window right now and be like, hey, have you heard about youtube.com/wearechange? Because if you didn't, you should check out that YouTube channel. Wave to them. Say bye. You did your part. And because you did that, I appreciate it immensely. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for a lot more here on youtube.com/wearechange.